Remember that girl? She was supposed to be some 15-year-old that was really smart and clever and online. I think you said, you quoted.
I've retweeted her on Twitter.
Yeah.
I blocked that fucking guy. I knew that was a guy.
I don't know.
Any fan of the radio morning talk show Opie and Anthony, known to most fans as O&A, knew of what the show called the Pest, a group of hardcore fans that would listen to the show daily, then talk about it the rest of the day, and at times bug or pest Howard Stern fans or other radio show fans. It was dumb, it was childish, and at times it was fun. Also, any fan of the show knows each October the radio show would do what they call Joktober. This is where they play clips from local radio shows, mostly really bad ones, and rip them apart. The fans, aka the Pest, would mostly flood those radio stations' Facebook page, posting the most sickest, craziest stuff you can find, with the goal for the radio station to close down the Facebook page for the day. Again, childish but fun. To do this, fake accounts had to be set up, so it would appear at first sight that a person was real, and fans of the targeted radio, Facebook, or social media wouldn't think a thing. Myself, being one of those fans, would wait, what seemed like marching orders at the time, to jump on some local radio Facebook page that I never heard of, post sick, crazy stuff until the radio owners shut down the page for the day.
It's Joktober, a celebration of all things shitty in radio.
That's not very nice.
Fantastic failures of pontificating proportions.
That's so bad.
Wow.
An interactive exploration of what makes radio rancid. Joktober.
OMG.
The radio host never told anyone to do this, but they did read the post on the air, making it a goal of any pets at the time to post something so crazy the two hosts would talk and joke about it.
Oh, Terry Clifford.
She is about a fat piece of shit.
You feel guilty with that one, Oak?
One of the many accounts I used on Facebook and Twitter was set up as a 14-year-old girl. I believe the name used was Kendall, but there were a few others at the time, and after 10 years, some of these start to get mixed up in your mind. Why did I choose to pick a 14-year-old girl as the account? Well, what radio station would expect a young teen girl subscribing to a Facebook page be a pest of a radio talk show? Between these attacks, the account was used mostly on Twitter to troll what we called the O&A haters. However, the fans, again the pests, could easily tell this was a fake account. One, the radio show would air during the day when any teenager was in school and not listening to adult radio show and attacking Facebook pages. Also, the Twitter at times would often tweet out about how cool old TV shows like Ironside was. What 14-year-old girl is skipping school to tweet about Ironside?
She was supposed to be some 15-year-old that was really smart and clever and online. I think you said, you quoted.
I've retweeted her on Twitter.
Yeah.
I blocked that fucking guy. I knew that was a guy.
I don't know. I just retweeted some shit that I thought was cool. That's all.
It was a dude.
Yeah, of course. I had no doubt that was a dude.
Hilarious.
It was clear, at least to anyone paying close attention, or anyone that knew the O&A show, that this was a troll account used for fun, but it seems not everyone could tell. After a few months, the account, then I believe called Self-Cutting Girl, grew and started to pick on non-Opie and Anthony fans. Some, I believe, found it funny, some believed it to be a real person, and others would send DM believing it was a 14-year-old girl. They would send pictures of their penises without even being asked, and they would talk very dirty in the messages. The account also caught the eye of the two radio hosts, mostly Anthony. Anthony, who was always really honest that he liked young women, well, 18 and over, followed the account and soon sent a private message. Over the time he would talk to me, or whoever was using the account at the time, a friendly back and forth started to happen. I was the one that mostly used this account, but we had 3 people to help out. One was a real girl, whose name I will not use here. She helped the account seem more real, but also, we kept it fake. We wanted those that knew the show, or anyone paying close attention, to know it was a fake troll account. But we wanted the passers-by to see the account and fall for it. So at times, this girl, about the age of 14, would come on to tweet 14-year-old girl stuff. And then we would come on to talk about Ironside.
Oh yeah, that person's been
I just want to explain. I have no idea.
Fan of the show,
yeah, right?
Retweeting a lot of stuff, talking about the show stuff and things like that. But it turns out that it's a guy.
A lot fell for it, And due to what might be legal issues, I will not go on to who hit on the girl, the fake girl, or the real girl who was sending illegal stuff, or at least borderline stuff. As this was almost 10 years ago, and any proof I have is long gone, I don't want to say anything that I can't back up with proof. There were about 4 people who I would consider creepy that started to talk to us in private. As the account started to grow and things started to get retweeted, it started to get picked up by people far out of the Opie Anthony fan base. Soon others that didn't know anything about the show was following the account. After a tweet about Kenner toys and how cool it was, people believed this 14-year-old girl was a huge fan of old Kenner toys and retweeted it a lot. Soon it got the eye of attention of another toy fan, one who at the time was hosting his own TV show about finding toys. I, as a Kenner fan, knew the name when it appeared in my DM box, so I applied back and we talked a little bit. When this hunter started talking about a well-known message board that I was already a member of under my real account, he asked who he thought was the 14-year-old girl to join, and I thought, what the hell? So I made an account and named it Kennerbabe. I posted again what I thought was clearly a sign that this was some troll account. I posted a lot, so much so that a lot of people there started to hate me for posting too much. Hey, it's a message board. How can you post too much? But I will say at this time my life was going through a divorce, losing my house to a bank, and already laid off work. I really seemed to start to use this account to escape life. From what I recall, I never talked to anyone on the message board off it. But this did get the hunter guy to talk to me more openly. And talking in a private message on Twitter turned into texting. Me, of course, using a text app to not reveal my phone number. Not only was he talking to me, but he started to talk to the real girl that was helping us, who had set up her own Twitter account at this time. She told me she felt a little creeped out about it, and I said, well, let me play around and see what happens. Maybe I did a little flirting or leading on, just to see the reaction I would get. Now, I can't prove any reaction that came, so let me just say, a couple days later, he came up with a plan that I would take toys that he had, set up an eBay account, I would sell them, ship them, and split the money with him, or I would get a commission. Can't remember the fine details.
She was supposed to help this guy at some kind of a show?
Yeah, business related.
Business related.
Yeah.
Because I remember seeing that tweet.
Also at the same time, a lot of other guys, a handful of them anyway, was asking me, as this girl, to set up an Amazon wish list. And I thought, what the hell, let's just do it for fun. We'll make it so crazy. Put a little stupid stuff on there to make it look real, and then put expensive stuff, to be funny. As Kennerbabe was talking to the radio host more and more, he even invited her, or I guess me, to come to his home. But he did include in a few years. Then, out of the blue, a package arrived. Ordered from the Amazon wish list was a MacBook notebook computer that I learned was from the radio host. Maybe I shouldn't have, but yes, I kept it. At the same time, the hunter was setting up this deal so we could sell toys and share some of the money. After all, it was like I had nothing to do, so why not take advantage and make a little money on the side? After all, it wasn't like I was keeping all the money, and I'm gonna be honest here, I really didn't like the guy. He just really came off to me as creepy. So, I gave him my address, which was a dumb mistake now looking back, to send something that I could sell on eBay. A big box showed up. Inside was a bunch of Star Wars or old toys that really wasn't worth that much, like Presto Magic stuff. There were some carded droid figures, but the crown jewel, of course, was a mint on card Luke Skywalker Stormtrooper, with a note saying it was mine for the help. I did feel a little bad, I'm gonna be honest, but it was a Luke Skywalker Stormtrooper on a Power of the Force card. And he did say he had a room full of them. So I set up an eBay to start selling things out of this box, where I would take some of the money and he would take the rest. However, it seemed the hunter had an assistant or a close friend that was starting to question him why he was spending so much time talking to this teenage girl. I mean, it wasn't like a message here or there or a text here and there throughout the day. He was spending a lot of his time talking to this girl. His close friend started to investigate the address. Now, I'm really not sure what all happened on their side, but they found out who I was. The gig was up.
There's an investigator involved? For what reason?
Well, this guy who called me started to get suspicious and hired a private investigator.
But why would he hire a private investigator? What problem did he have with the guy?
Was he trying to fuck her?
No. I think that the guy was going to have some kind of like let this girl help him at some kind of a trade show thing.
Right, it was a business related thing.
Yeah, so it's like,
so he's like, wait, before I get into business.
Yeah.
No.
That's the story I was told.
Nah, there's.
Do you think
there's a different story there.
Do you think the guy was trying to fuck her and she was supposed to be underage?
The other guys I was working with quickly deleted all their accounts. The girl that was helping us was very shook up and worried that we would get into some kind of legal trouble. Although I don't think there was any legal trouble to get in, a plan was designed to make her seem part of the victim.
There's a girl that was friends with this girl that like unloaded pretty much her entire life as like a friend to this girl, and for over a year.
The radio host found out, and then it went all over Twitter, or at least in the Twitter O&A fan base. It was even talked about on the show the next day, how they all had been catfished by some guy in Georgia.
Had set up this Twitter account. He had this whole network of online friends. Dozens of people who thought it was this 16-year-old girl or whatever.
It's a catfish. It's a fucking complete catfish.
And it wasn't even like he was trying to convince dudes that he was making friends.
It was a crazy time, and I quickly mailed up the box of things I was going to sell on eBay and sent it back to the hunter, because by this time, with the gig up, I'm sure we weren't going to work together to sell some toys. I reached out to the girl that was helping us, who was still talking to Anthony, the radio host, and told her to tell him that I would gladly return the map book. I was sorry that things got so out of control, and she told me she got a reply back that he didn't care, that he hopes I die or something like that, and that he's a millionaire and it was nothing to him to keep it. So I kept it. I deleted the Twitter account. Looking back now, I wish I saved some of the DMs or the app we used to text these guys back and forth, but at the time, I just wanted to delete everything and move on. I don't talk to the other guys that helped me, but at times I still talk to the real girl. Well, we would talk over DMs on Twitter about once a year, mostly laugh about all the crazy things that happened. However, when I lost my main Twitter account, that Junkman, I lost access to her name, and I guess she doesn't know my new account, so maybe we have lost contact now. Again, some things are left out of this story, trying to condense almost a year's worth of information into one video. And I don't want to accuse anyone of doing something very bad if I can't back it up, which again, everything is so old now, I don't have proof anymore. But I will ask you to ask yourself this. Would 4 grown men, all way over the age of 40, really send who they thought was a 14-year-old girl expensive things and try to meet up with them off social media, all because they just want to have a friend or be nice? And if any of those 4 are watching, this goes out to one of you. I can't back it up, but you know, I know, and others know what you said about a stepdaughter. That's the story of Kennerbabe. I was dumb. And it really got out of hand and snowballed into a lot more than it ever should have been. What should have been just fun goofing around with some radio guys got really out of control. I'm still shocked that anyone fell for it. Some other YouTubers out there have used the story of Kennerbabe as a way to get the Junkman. One would often tweet about it or throw the name around as a way to keep me on edge. Like, ooh, better watch out, I know about the Kennerbabe story. A story that I talked about on a podcast when I used to do the Kenner Chronicles and talked about on live streams and on social media. It was never a secret. But it seems he finally found a boob to give the story to who could put it in a video and do his work for him. Because whenever there's YouTube drama, it seems the 2 boobs are connected together. Anal Toy Log seems pretty upset that some perverted men that thought they were talking to a young girl got fooled. Well, I'm not going to hold that against him because I'm sure the puppet master himself and his other minions probably didn't give Anal Toy Log the full story, just enough that he can make a video about it and get angry about it, so he can take any risk and they don't have to. And to Anal Log Toys, I think it's time you cut those puppet strings. Stop being everyone else's puppet. Well, that's it. That's the story of Kennerbabe, self-cutting girl, the Opie and Anthony drama. It's all out there. It's been out there. It's nothing secret. Again, I'm no saint. Not saying this is perfect and I handle everything the best way, but that's the story. Thank you for watching.
Hey, Junkman channel popping though.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.